police chief to check in.
Perform CPR. They tried to revive him. St. Petersburg Fire Rescue arrived on the scene and pronounced him deceased. The young man's name is Tyler Lord. He lived 2 houses from where he was shot and killed at 1836 16th Street South. There were no witnesses present. We did have one person that heard the shots and went out in the alleyway and saw him laying there and called us. But we have nobody that actually saw the shooting itself that we know of right now. Within the past 30 minutes or so, we have begun to receive our first leads, and there are detectives from the Major Crimes Unit of the St. Petersburg Police Department right now that are out to on their way out to speak with a potential witness. We do believe that somebody in this community knows why this young man was murdered, and we are asking, we're imploring the community to come forward and to assist us in this investigation. There isn't a lot to go on at the scene right now. We had the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office Forensics Investigations Unit out here. They have processed the scene, and the medical examiner removed the young man's body a short time ago. So the detectives, as daylight comes, will hold the crime scene, and we'll begin to fan out across this neighborhood and attempt to develop leads. I can take a few questions, but I can tell you that right now information is limited, and there are some facts of this case that we're not prepared to discuss right now.
Any idea on a motive at this point?
We don't know what the motive is on this. We're looking obviously at associates. It's important for us in a case like this to recreate the last several hours that led up to this young man's murder in the hopes that that'll point us towards his killer.
Chief, the first 48 hours are critical in any case, especially one like this when this young kid was killed in the alleyway. Talk to us about the investigation and looking forward.
Yeah, the first 48 hours, I'll see this, are crucial. And so we are working, diligently. These detectives, as you know, just 2 days ago worked another homicide. So they've been working, pretty much around the clock in trying to locate that young man's killer. But they are prepared for a long day today. And this is more of a marathon than a sprint. They are prepared to do whatever it takes to solve this case and to bring whoever killed this young man to justice. And it may not be an easy path when we start with very little clues and few witnesses.
When you're talking about 6 young people killed within 6 weeks' time, and several of them gone unsolved, what message do you have to this community if you know something to speak up?
Yeah, it's... We looked at all of these homicides to see if there's any connections, and there aren't any it all appears to be random violence. But, we cannot do this alone. It is important that we receive the support of this community, and not just this community, but throughout the city. Some of these murders have taken place at other places in this city. The police department, we can do our job, we can investigate it, we can identify evidence, but without the best evidence we can have is an eyewitness. And we need this community to step forward. And as far as, stemming this kind of violence, we need the people in this city, the churches, the civic leaders, parents to join with us and let's get out and get the word out to these kids. I mean, when you look at those 6 homicides, I believe that the youngest victim was 16 and the oldest was 25. Those are 6 young men whose lives ended way before their time. But, we can solve the case. We can pursue the killers. But in order to stop the violence, it takes this entire community.
Do you believe that somebody knows something out there that could help you to solve this? Somebody saw something?
Absolutely. There is no doubt that there are people that know who the killers are, not just of this young man, but in these other cases where we have not made an arrest yet. In the case of Lenny Acosta, we know that there are people in this community because we've talked to what I would call secondhand witnesses, people that have hearsay that is credible and that points to the fact that there are people in this community who know who killed that young man. And so, until they can step forward and have the courage to step forward, or step forward in this case and tell us who did it, we're left to try to piece this thing together. We need this community support, and we need these witnesses to come forward, and we will do everything within the power of this police department and this city to protect these witnesses and to ensure that there is no retaliation against them for their testimony.
Is it frustrating anytime somebody so young is killed in your city?
It's frustrating for these men and women to have to come out here and investigate anyone's death. But when you see a 17-year-old who just turned 17 a month ago laying on the ground, and you have to talk to his father, and try to make sense of it, yes, it's frustrating. These detectives have been working pretty much over the last month, 12, 14, 16-hour days on a regular basis, working weekends to try to bring justice for these families. It is frustrating, and it's frustrating when we know that there's people in this community that can help us solve these cases.
Where are these young kids or young teens getting their guns?
I had a conversation with an ATF agent as recently as yesterday about Gabriel Wallace's murder, and I asked him, the ATF has been an amazing federal partner for us in this city. They're embedded in our narcotics unit. They are pursuing these habitual felons that we arrest with firearms. They are working with us to try to identify where these guns are coming from. But it does seem that there is an abundance of firearms on the street, and we are doing everything possible to get them off the street, working with the ATF and our other partners to do it. But I don't know. I wish I did know, because we certainly, everybody here wants to put this thing, wants to try to get some of these guns off the street.
It's the week before Christmas. If there's ever been a time to stem this violence, now is the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, lost upon us that this is supposed to be a season of peace, and here we are at 12:41 in the morning, standing over a 17-year-old man who's been violently killed, whose life has been taken way before his time. So yeah, it is, and I can't say enough about the professionalism of our detectives, of these police officers. That have been, many of them worked extended shifts yesterday. We had one of our officers pass away unexpectedly. And so, the police department has rallied around each other, and these guys have done an amazing job, during a difficult time of the year to have to deal with this kind of thing. We've had tremendous support from Mayor Kreisman. We've had tremendous support from all the city government. Chief Holloway he's clearly realizes the importance of us reconnecting with the community on a constant basis, so that we can work to try to prevent this in the future. We appreciate your support. We're asking anybody that has any information about this young man's death to contact us either through our tip 411. You can submit an anonymous tip, or you can call the police department at 727-893-7780. And we will do everything we can to assist anybody that might have information in this, to get that information and to protect them. And we appreciate you guys helping us get the word out. And if we have any updates, we'll provide them later in the day. Thank you.